All right, this Jalen Ramsey story just will not go away. At first, it was kind of fun to think about, and it keeps kind of becoming more serious. And one of the ways you can kind of always know is Vegas has basically given us a 44% chance of landing Ramsey, the 50% chance to Vegas, and then the other percentages here to Houston, New England, whatever. Basically, we're one of the top two teams that Vegas thinks that we could, that Ramsey could go to. And so Vegas, they don't screw around too often. They never do. They're pretty much smart money is saying there could be a chance to go to the Lions. And I think this would be just a terrible mistake. There's no way that we do this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because when you look at Ramsey's contract, he would be owed $17 million this year at 29 years old. And I really like him. He's a great player, but you're paying him for what he did when he was 25, 26, 27, 28 was still pretty good. He was pretty good in last year, but now he's 29, $17 million. You look at our salary cap situation, we're in okay shape because of Vitae could go. Vitae's right here at 12 million. Romeo might go. We've got some cuts that are ahead of us. Charles Harris is another one. We've got some shuffling, and I think we could afford him. Technically, we could, but it's just so unnecessary because you're giving up picks. The Rams are not going to give him away. I still think you could get him for reasonable. You don't have to give up like 2 firsts and a second next year, anything crazy. I think you could get him because they're trying to get rid of him, right? They know that they have to move him. They have to get under the cap, whatever, cap situation. So you might get him for, I don't even know, like a third rounder, like something that's not that bad because of the fact that the Rams are trying to move him. They want to get anything they can from him. They don't want to just cut him. So maybe a second, a third, whatever. Who knows? Okay. I honestly don't know. But my point is, it wouldn't be terrible, but we know that Brad Holmes can make things happen. And basically, when you're making this trade, you're saying that you don't trust your GM because we need those picks and we need the money. Because if you look here, here's the available free agents. And we kind of looked at this before, and I like this because you can filter it by a few different things. So I filtered it by the guys that had the most tackles last year. Bobby McCain, 29 years old. Miles Bryant, 25. He was paid about a little under $1 million. Chandon Sullivan, Minnesota, 26 years old. He was paid $1 million. These guys are free agents. They're due for some raises, especially these guys that have done well. No question about that. But my point is, for $17 million, you could get 2 very nice corners, each about $4 million a year, something like that, where you do not have to pay that $17 million. I mean, Bryce Callahan, he was paid $1 million last year, had a great season. So you do not have to pay for these guys. And then the next thing that you really do is you give up your draft picks. And whether you give up a couple premiums and a couple late draft picks, 5th, 6th round, you're really saying you don't trust our GM when we really do trust our GM. Brad Holmes can't wait to see what he does with a 4th, 5th, 6th round picks, right? There's a corner that you could get. There's a linebacker that you could get with those picks. So the fact that I think it's a good story. I think it's fun. I think people are really putting a lot on the 44% chance is the fact that Brad Holmes worked with the Rams for a long time, 20 years or something. Did a big trade already. They know each other. You're naturally going to work with people that or whatever, have a good conversation with. But at the end of the day, I would be shocked if we trade for Ramsey. So as much as it continues to really be a real possibility, I mean, it's almost likely at this point because it's us or Vegas. And Vegas, remember, they had the big trade for Devontae Adams last year. I don't know how much draft capital they have left, what they can really do. And they're looking for a quarterback as well. So you could almost take Vegas out of here. And doesn't that seem likely that the Lions then come in? I mean, it's hard to believe that we would do this. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you take Ramsey, or do you say, no way, we have to trust Brad Holmes with extra money in the offseason? We really haven't had cap space since he's been here. he's really had to right the ship in order to get us cap space for this year. So I'd hate to see him just blow it on one player or a lot of it on one player. And I'd also hate to see us give up draft picks because it's so exciting to see Brad Holmes get the Malcolm Rodriguez's, get the Kirby Joseph, and make things happen later in the draft. James Houston. These are all guys that it's like, man, this is huge when you can get big time contributors late in the draft. You hate to give up those draft picks to get an aging veteran. That's going to be expensive. I doubt that we do it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see all of you on the next one.